Okay, in this video we're going to show you how to do a box plot with data in your calculator. Alright, we're back on the page from standard deviation, so we need to scroll up in the notes. I'm going to scroll up to the page with the box plots. This is the second half of the Module 2 notes, and we're going to be in topic 2.3. Here's the box plot, okay, and you see two outliers, and we'll mention those in a moment. All right, so I'm going to pull up my calculator again. Still have my one variable stats, and here's the 5-number summary. And recall, if you've read already in the OLI or in the notes, that the box plot, is a graph of the 5-number summary. Okay, so as with the histogram, this is a statistical graph, so we're going to hit second and the y equals key, which will bring us back to the stat plot menu. Okay, it can be confusing to have multiple graphs at the same time unless you really intend for that to happen. So I'm going to go back into stat plot 1 since it's already on, and I'm going to go down and change my type. I'm going to press the down arrow, and you see right here I've got two things that look like box plots. In general, it's for our class you want to choose this one, which is the one which shows you outliers as separate points. This second one will draw the end lines all the way out to the end regardless of whether there are outliers. So I'm going to press the right arrow past the histogram to the next one. So I press the right arrow even though it was in the next line down, and then I press enter to change my type. Notice some of my choices here changed. It added this mark, and that mark I'll mention in a second. But first of all, your X list is still where your variable is, which for us is list 1. And most of the time you're going to leave your frequency as 1. Now, mark is how it graphs the outliers. I happen to prefer the box, as you can see down here, where these boxes are marking the outliers. The plus is okay as well, but the single pixel can be a little bit hard to see, at least if your eyesight's going downhill like mine on a screen the size of the calculator. Okay, so I'm going to leave it as a square. So everything is set up. My plot is on. I've selected the histogram with outliers. List 1 is where my data is. Frequency is almost always 1. And mark is a square, or you might choose a plus, a little cross. All right? This one is one that's great if you press zoom. And again, I'm just going to press number 9. I'm not even going to scroll down there, but number 9 is zoom stat, so I just press 9. And it gives me a great graph right there with the box plot. And notice it even shows me my two outliers way out here. These two high heart rates were outliers. So let's press the trace key here and see what happens. Okay, it gives me my minimum, which is 44. That's where the tracing will always start at the minimum. Press the right arrow and you see Q1 is 63.5. Press the right arrow again, the median is 70. The right arrow again is Q3 equals 81.5. And you might think that if I press the right arrow again, I get the maximum, but I don't. It takes me to the end of the line, and it says X equals 98. So what is this X equals 98? Well, this is the highest heart rate that was not an outlier. So the next two heart rates are outliers. The next one says X equals 110. So that's, again, an X value. That just means it's a heart rate. And there's not anything particularly special about it. It's not one of the 5-number summary. That's why it doesn't have a special symbol other than X. But it is an outlier because it's plotted separately. And then press the right arrow again, and you see now it says max equals 115. So this point right here is my maximum. So my 5-number summary was the minimum was 44. Then the Q3. Let's press my left arrow here. The Q3 was 63.5, and then the median, the middle line in the box, was 70. Then the Q3 was 81.5. Then the next two are not part of the 5-number summary, and then the last outlier is my maximum. Even though it's an outlier, still part of the 5-number summary. Now, again, about the outliers, this should be review if you've read OLI and the in-class notes, but outliers are any values that are more than 1.5 interquartile ranges or 1.5 IQRs past the end of the box, or past Q3 going up or past Q1 going down. So basically, if you thought, I take this box make a line 1.5 times that length and stick it out this direction. Any numbers that are further away from the box than that are going to be outliers. That's how we define outliers. Interestingly, outliers, the fellow who came up with this criteria for outliers, he was asked, why 1.5 IQRs? Why not 1? Why not 2? And his answer was kind of what I like to call the Goldilocks argument, because 1 interquartile range is not enough. Too many values end up outliers. And 2 IQRs is too many, not enough outliers. But 1.5 IQRs is just right. You get a good number of outliers. That the points that are far away are outliers, but you don't have to go so far that there's hardly ever any outliers. Okay, that wraps it up for the calculator assistance for Module 2. The only other video you might want to look at for Module 2 is the one that shows you how to input symbols into the calculator. My apologies for the train in the background, but I'm not redoing this whole video.